27 days, I sat in the same chair in front of the same plastic box. In that box lied my daughter, Annabella, fighting for her life. I couldn't touch her. I couldn't hold her. I couldn't do anything for her. I felt helpless. All I could do was sit and wait. Day 28 came, and a consultant with the words that no parent wants to hear. You know, your daughter's going to die, right? No, impossible. I've been sitting here all the time. She's doing fine. She's okay. But no, by the end of that day, she would be gone. At just 28 days old, Annabella's fight for life was over. And I felt, as a father, I failed at my main job, keeping my baby girl safe. I don't know what you're going through at the moment or what you've gone through in the past, but have you ever experienced something so overwhelming that you couldn't picture yourself on the other side? It felt impossible. Maybe you lost your job during the crisis, or maybe your heart was broken. Maybe you had an accident, or maybe, like me, you suffered the loss of a loved one. Before Annabella, our lives were full of hope and happiness. And in the aftermath, they were full of sorrow and darkness. I wanted to escape. I wanted to run away, but my family needed me. So I stayed to try and hold them together whilst not falling apart myself. But that feeling of wanting to run, that didn't leave, only got stronger. So one day, I did. I didn't run away from the situation. I didn't run away from Annabella. I ran for her. 28 marathons in 28 days, one for every day that she fought to live. Mate, you haven't even run one marathon, let alone 28 in a row. Chris, that's impossible. This was the common reaction that my friends and family had when I told them what I was going to do. So, as any stubborn person would, I told more people. I told radio stations, TV stations, newspapers, anyone that would listen. I was going to run these marathons to honour my daughter Annabella, raise awareness for baby loss, and some money for some charities that had helped us along the way. I fully committed to the process. I went all in. And yes, I did train. And I got to the point where I could run a marathon in about 5 or 6 hours. So I felt prepared. And that was until I met the path. Now, in my wisdom, I decided to run these marathons along the southwest coast path in the UK. Now, this is a beautiful path. It ascends majestic cliffs and descends into deserted beaches with crystal waters and white sands. But for running marathons, it was brutal. Those ascents and descents were the equivalent of climbing Everest 4 times. And the path, that is a grandiose word for what amounted to no more than a trail, and at some points not even that, where there was it eroded into the sea and there was diversions to be found to get back onto the path. Sometimes I'd be looking for it and there'd just be a sign pointing up, and I'd find myself clambering up to a cliff just to get to the next part of the path. It was impossible to run every step of the way, and days were taking me 9, 10 hours as I found myself stumbling and crawling just to complete the distance for the day. I started to doubt myself, started to question, is this even possible? Am I really honouring Annabella, or am I just making a fool of myself? I felt like I was failing her all over again. And then something curious started to happen. I started to listen to what the path was teaching me. It was teaching me to slow down, to not rush the process. And the ups and the downs, that was like my experience with grief. It was like being connected to a rubber band. Some days were easy, and then other days were a fight and a struggle, and then other days you were pulled all the way back. And all you could do was get up, put one foot in front of the other, and continue forward. And it was that message of realizing that it was just step by step, day by day, not giving up, moving forward, that enabled me to complete what I'd set out to do. Do the impossible. Finally, felt like I had done something for Annabella. When people ask me how I cope with the death of my daughter, I tell them it's not easy. But just like on my run, I get up every day, I put one foot in front of the other, I keep going. I suffer the highs and the lows, I keep on going. So I ask you, what challenge are you facing at the moment that feels too big, too grand, insurmountable? Listen, don't give up. Step by step, day by day, you too can endure the impossible.